Today on Meet Me in the Penthouse, we welcome Amy Joyce. Amy has not one, not two, but three 10-year-old boys, yes, triplets, and has survived cancer not once, not twice, but three times. This Wonder Woman is an incredible corporate vice president and knows how to get through life without panicking. She's a true role model, and you won't want to miss her insight today. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. I am Amy, along here with my sister Molly. We help high-achieving women increase their income, but most importantly, their impact. We are neighbors, sisters, and business partners. We have built 8-figure businesses together, traveled the world together, raised our children together, mentored thousands of men and women together, and it's all because we have a penthouse mindset. We aim for the top, and we show others how to empower themselves to peel back the layers and truly step into their greatness and calling. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse, where we help high-achieving women increase their income, but also their impact. My name is Amy Mosser, and this is my sister,
Molly Kroeker, and I get to introduce our guest. We went to college together. We were in the same sorority at Nebraska Wesleyan. I knew her as Amy Husenfeld, but the world will know her as Amy Joyce. And I'm so excited. Friends, she literally has, there's 900 stories to her life, her young life already. So we're just going to see where this takes us. But Amy, I love the story of your parents. I love how you grew up. Take us back a little bit to just Amy, Lincoln, Nebraska, just a little bit of your story about growing up with older siblings.
Thank you so much, Molly and Amy. I'm excited to share some stories and see what happens here. And thank you so much for inviting me to join you. Yeah, so grew up in little Lincoln, Nebraska on Franklin Street. And I had a really interesting family dynamic in that I have three older siblings, but they were mostly grown by the time I came around. So I had the siblings slash three older moms and lived an only child life. So lots of people in charge of telling me what to do and all of the above. You know, I grew up with parents who I think just had an incredible head on their shoulders and level of maturity. You know, my mom had already raised three girls. So, you know,
Like
we think about
independently, right?
independently. Yes. Yeah.
Like as a solo parent
as a solo parent, you know,
in
she
the
worked,
whatever days, 60s.
yes, in like the 50s and
Yeah.
60s. And she worked multiple jobs. She did what she had to do. She made a penny stretch a mile. And the girls never really knew, right? Like until later what she went through. But, you know, this woman, just an incredible pillar of strength and resilience. And you never saw her sweat. Like she just kept it together. And, you know, I think that's where I get my never panic from, even though I think I learned it from a music director. I learned it from my mom. Never panic, right? Like life gets hard, but it doesn't get easier to manage if you are panicking about something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
was just going to say that is one of my favorite things about you, Amy. From the day I met you at our sorority, you are like even keel and always have a smile on your face. You can
Thanks,
just
Amy.
handle anything. You can handle anything with such grace. And
You
you're
know, they say, sorry, that an emotion lasts 90 seconds. And I think I just learned this later in life. I think you must have just known that when you were a toddler, Amy, like you figured that out quickly.
Well, thank you. I think I did. And, you know, we model what we see,
Yeah.
right? And so growing up, seeing that in my mom and my dad, right? I think my dad was just naturally more stoic about stuff, but mom, no matter what pressures were on her, was just rock solid. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you don't show emotion, right? Like, you still show compassion, you can still show that you're frustrated or whatever, but you don't live in it for any length of time, right? You figure out like, how am I going to persevere? How am I going to keep on going without being paralyzed by whatever the situation is, right? So it is a balance, right?
Right. Right.
Ignore your emotions, but don't let them like completely paralyze you.
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of perseverance, that's one of my favorite words is you. Okay, so we're gonna I mean, you've had an incredible life of high level jobs. I mean, just like your career has been incredible. And then you got pregnant with triplets.
I did. Yes.
And you weren't 29.
No, I was 40. For
And
those
you were
of you,
39.
yes. For those of you who've been pregnant at the age of 35 or higher, that's called advanced maternal age, which I hated that word or that expression, right? But medically, that's what I was. And, I think I panicked. I remember the ultrasound. So my first ultrasound, there were 2 heartbeats. Came back 2 weeks later, there's 3 heartbeats. And I said, I'm not coming back here anymore. You keep having babies. But no, I remember my husband being thrilled. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I have a career. I don't know if I can physically do this. But then immediately it was like, no, God has blessed us with 3 babies. I'm going to do everything I can to make this a healthy pregnancy, all of it. Right. And I went to like the top MFM doctor in Chicago. So we lived in Chicago at the time. And I remember him telling me, like, you have, very high chance of one of your children having Down syndrome. You are almost guaranteed to have preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, all of these things, right? And actually encouraged me to reduce my pregnancy. And like said, absolutely not, right? I am in great physical health. I'm going to do everything I can to have a healthy pregnancy, and you're fired. And so I went and found another doctor, give me the doom and gloom, and was willing to support my journey.
And top doctor in Chicago, top MF, yeah.
Like downtown Chicago, across from the Buckingham Fountain, like top. And I said, no, thank you. I don't need your negativity in my life. So
yeah.
So next, and so I found a doctor who supported me, and they kept a great, close eye on me and the babies the whole time. And I, fast forward, had a planned C-section at 35 weeks, which is a long time to carry triplets. And for those of you who don't know, actually almost 36 weeks. And they were all like healthy weight. One of them went to the regular nursery day 1. 2 of them spent like a week in the NICU, just feeding and growing. Everybody's got 10 fingers and 10 toes and good. And, and we were blessed in triplicate. And I just remember, and I wrote that doctor a letter. He never responded back, but I'm sure he read it and told him how things ended. And, please think twice before there's this balance of inform of the risks, but, be respectful of people who, really want to go on the journey and support them.
And have opinions different than you, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I can't truly, just having 2 children of my own, I can't imagine like firing the top person, because back in those days, I'd be like, oh my gosh, who's going to take me on? Like, who's going to take a pregnant client on? And here you are, advanced maternal age, looking while working, 900 hours a week, like, okay, now I need to find a new OBGYN. So that's pretty fabulous. And a lot of you can't see Amy, but she has beautiful strawberry blonde hair, and her boys are also redheads. And I love it. It's so fun to see these 3 boys.
Darling.
Thank you.
Are darling. Like the friends that you're like, I can't wait for their Christmas card to come out. You're like, you're that friend. Like, I can't wait to see what they look like now. So it is so much fun. And you guys, you're going to want to hear the rest of our interview with Amy, because it gets so much better. So this is a little teaser for you. We can't wait for you to meet up with us with Amy in our longer version here.
Thank you for tuning in today for Meet Me in the Penthouse with sisters Amy and Molly. Please rate and review. We love those 5-star ratings and would love to have you go to our website at sistersnextdoor.com.